Microsites can make you tons of money online. Microsites. What is a microsite, right? We talk about it a lot on this channel. A microsite is something that can create passive revenue. In the Rank Expand Academy, this is something that people are building right now. This is one of the fastest growing communities on the school platform because microsites, they work. We've built, me and Shawn Buckles, who you will see in this video, we're going to talk about it. We've built 78 different microsites, and next year we are going to build 1,000 of them. Why? Because we are still excited about the opportunity. And in this video, we're going to talk about the 5 most frequently asked questions about microsites so you can decide whether or not this business model is for you. So the first question is, what is a microsite and what makes it different from a normal website? Fair enough question.
I think microsites are not necessarily smaller because that is a common misconception, I think. Well, they are sort of small, but they're still 50, 60 pages. But the micro part it's very, very focused. So we hyper focus on a specific location plus service combination. And it's an exact match domain, and this increases the chance of ranking quickly. So I think that is a good definition of a microsite.
I've given definition because people have called me out in the comments like, this isn't a microsite, it's 50 pages. I'm like, well, it's a micro amount of work too. It doesn't cost that much
That is
time,
true.
right? But you mentioned EMDs. So exact match
Yes.
domains work really well with this. But someone in the community was talking about partial match domains. And I was thinking about it,
Yes.
which one would work better over the long run, an EMD on a microsite or a PMD? What do you think?
I think EMD is one-on-one parity, as you call it. So I think the results are quicker. But I could see that if Google, for example, thinks all of a sudden, yeah, we're going to go after those EMD rank and rents, perhaps you have a little bit of a better like mode with a partial match domain. I could see that work. And also it allows you a little bit more flexibility down the line if you want to add services, for example. So I think there's an interesting case.
And we do that, right? We have broad kind of partial match, and then we have EMDs. The EMDs do hit much faster.
Yeah, I think most of our good, like high producing microsites are EMD. I think we have tried partial match. We have a little bit of success with that. We've also tried branded domains and really built those out. Those didn't really work, it seemed, but we only did a couple. So yeah.
Question number 2, how long does it take for a microsite to start ranking and generating leads?
So
Interesting.
when we first started, I think our benchmark was 3 months, something like that.
Right.
But we are seeing way quicker results nowadays. So in the community, many people are ranking within a couple of weeks. I think we have a lot of success within 6 weeks, typically. And it depends on the competition. So if we have a more competitive industry or a richer SERP, for example, then it can take up to 12 weeks, something like that. And some microsites have been slowly building in 3, 4, 5 months. And then they are at full speed. I think all of them they reach like 80% of their potential in six months or something.
Great. Fastest we've seen in the community is someone made a website on a Wednesday, and this was not an easy niche. And they had a legitimate lead come through on a Saturday, that Saturday.
Yes, that was wild. I have not seen that before, I think. But we have seen, I think, multiple people do have similar results. So I think we have a couple of members that are within that time frame, like 1 week, 2 weeks. But 2, 3 days, that is, I think, definitely the record.
Record. And I was surprised because it wasn't like a weird, easy niche. I guess it was an EMD. So I think that's the power. All right, question number 3. Do microsites compete with or hurt my main business website?
No, I don't think so. We keep them fully isolated, right? So there's no real way to link them to your business. If your business is ranking number 1 and now your microsite is ranking number 1, so that would be competition, of course. but now you have the top one and top two, number two slot. So I would say that is still an improvement. So I don't think it's competition. I think it's, let's say, enrichment, or it's just very comprehensive.
We do not internally link or externally link all the websites, any of the websites.
No, no. I think we went over this in a lot of depth, and I think our typical method works very well, keeping them isolated. It de-risks everything. But we do have members that are linking back to their main website, I believe. Do you know?
We do, yeah.
I don't know if they have good results already with that, but there are people that have been doing this in the community for a very long time that have good results with linking everything together. But I think it's more complex and it requires a bit more attention to detail.
The footprint thing, I mean, if we took that question a bit further, so we have our main website, right? We've had this website, let's pretend, for 5 years. It's a roofing website. It crushes. We have Google reviews. We're rocking it. But we also want to dominate. We just want to dominate. We don't want to take over the SERPs, right? So we're going to build out these microsites. Is there any potential chance for the footprint of our microsites to, number one, draw back to the main website, like a PBN, or draw to each other as a PBN? Is there any opportunity for someone to connect the dots?
There's a small opportunity for the second part. The first part, I don't see any risk with the main website. I don't think it's going to be in any way linked at all. So I don't think that is a risk at all. The second part, the microsites could be linked together, but that has to be done visually by a human. So if a human takes a look, like a search quality rate or something like that, takes a look and is gonna like Sherlock Holmes this stuff, and they're gonna like A/B compare the template, perhaps they can figure out that this is part of a network, but they cannot know for sure because this could be some sort of theme or something. And so, technically speaking, there is no easy or cheap way to connect them together.
I'd have a hard time believing that a raider would be crawling local businesses for these type of terms. I'd have a hard time believing that.
Me too. And then also, if they would, they don't have 100% certainty because it's just a design that has like a callback to one another. So I don't think they would be able or would be allowed to flag that in any way because all of the WordPress sites with Astro theme would be
Right.
like a PBN then as well if you follow that logic.
That's right. 100%. All right, next questions. How many microsites should I build to dominate my service area? Interesting.
I would say as many as you can get out, but I think our minimum cluster size is about 5 or 6 sites. I think we only do clusters of 5 or more, and that seems to be a good target number because you'll see that like 1 or 2 in 5 will really hit, and then 1 or 2 will do like mediocre, and then the rest will do nothing. And so if you want to make sure to crush it, I would say do at least 5, but ideally you do 15, and then you have at least 3 high performers.
That's what people do when they come to us. They want us to build the microsites. We do typically 10 plus 2 bonus for 12 total. And just like you said, there's like a third, a third, a third. A third will crush, a third will do okay, a third will eh. We have
So
how many microsites do we have now?
I think we are at 78, top of my head right now.
What's the goal? Like what are we going to do in 2026?
1,000.
1,000.
Yeah, 1,000 microsites is the goal. The funny thing is, what's gonna be interesting is that getting to 200 is gonna be way harder than getting from 200 to 1,000. So once we have like the basic infrastructure in place, so we have the infrastructure in place to do 50, 100 easily, but there's still a lot of manual checks and manual work involved. And then we need like 2 pieces of the puzzle to scale up to 1,000 from there. And then getting to 1,000 is going to be pretty easy.
Then it becomes just managing the leads.
Exactly. Yeah. And so the administrative part and the like the logistical part is the hard part. Like keeping track of 1,000 sites, uh, pruning those, periodically, and also keeping track of all the clients and all the billing and all the leads. That is the hardest part.
What do you think our carrying cost per website will be at that point? 1,000 websites.
In total, I'll have to crunch the numbers real quick, but the monthly carrying cost is going to be, I think we're aiming for 250 per site. So what is that? Times times 1,000. So that's
2,500 a month.
yes, exactly.
So we only pay $2.50 per website for hosting, and that's pretty much it, right?
It's a phone number, phone processing cost, hosting. Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. That's like, it's negligible.
It is. Yeah, the numbers make sense. The ROI, so our current ROI over the entire portfolio for the last 1.5 years is somewhere in the ballpark of 500%, I believe. But then the monthly ROI is way, way high. It's like infinite. So every year the site is producing. So the initial setup costs are covered in the first year, and then after that, the ROI is like 2,000% or something.
Truth be known, we have a lot of leads that go nowhere right now because we've been busy doing
Yes.
other things and we haven't connected these leads with that contractor to sell. But we did
Yes.
recently land the 10% rev share deal, which I'm
That was
very,
exciting.
yeah, that's very exciting. So we're going to build how many websites for that particular deal?
We're going to start off with, we have 15 already. We're going to do at least 35 more. So then we have a cluster of 50. But their service area is pretty big. So I can see us building 200 sites for that client. And so we would do, for example, a couple of sub-services verticals. So sub-verticals within their service area. And then we could do 50, 50, 50 or 80, 80, 80 or something like that.
To conceptualize that, let's say it was an electrician client, right? You could obviously build a, BaltimoreElectrician.com, but what we're saying here is, and correct me if I'm wrong, like electricians do many things. Maybe they do EV chargers, or maybe they do, 24/7 emergency electrical work. So you build websites for those specific services, EMDs. Therefore, you can have like you said, 250 for any given service easily.
Yes, it's going to be way easier to rank emergency electrician plus location than just electrician, because you'll be competing with all Baltimore's electricians that way. And so we hyper optimize for that specific service, that subservice, and it's going to get way faster results, but the search volumes are going to be way lower. This is something that concerns some people in the community. We have a lot of discussion going on there. But I'd say it's probably better if the search volume is very low or even zero in some cases, because we all know that SEOs are just going off their tooling most of the time. So if it's not showing up in Ahrefs, for example, as a viable keyword, but it's a common sense keyword that people will be typing in, it's going to be a land grab.
Common sense keyword, that's such a good term. I think the one person who did the Wednesday website and then the lead on a Saturday, it was based upon a relationship they have with somebody. Like they know this
Yes.
person does this service, and if they get leads, they can send it to them. It was just common sense. I don't think they cared too much about volume. They just built the darn thing and boom.
Yes. I don't even know if they did any keyword research beforehand. This was a service you would only be familiar with if you needed the service before, or if you knew somebody that is performing that specific service. So no rank and rant agency or SEO is gonna jump on that. And that is why they ranked so incredibly quickly. It's not because it's not a competitive location or there are not many service providers in that location. It's nobody is targeting that specific subservice.
All right, next question. Can a microsite work without a GMB, Google Business Profile, GBP, however they call it nowadays, GBL, Google Business Listing, whatever. Can we still rank
All of
without
those.
one?
Yeah, that is a fun question. So we were wondering whether we could rank without, because we weren't able to verify any GBPs before. So all of our websites are producing leads without them. And we are producing leads on SERPs with map packs and all of it. Because if you get the top spot just above the map pack or just below, you're still gonna do pretty well. And so yes, it can be done definitely. And we have, I think, proven it at least a couple of dozen times now.
Absolutely. With a couple of dozens of websites without GMBs.
Exactly. Yes.
But on the flip side, right, we have a thread in the community on Google auto verification, right, where we tested one of
Yes.
our microsites to get auto verified with a Google business profile, and it worked. And then
It
that
did.
website started to boost a lot.
Yeah, the increase was, so this website was doing well already. This was a SERP with a lot of rich results, so a map pack and things like that, and ads at the top. So pretty interesting niche, but also pretty competitive. Once we enable the Google Business Profile, I think we 5x'd the lead flow instantly. So this website was already somewhat older. It was established. And then once we flicked the switch, yeah, it went 5x.
We don't have all the answers on how to do the auto verification, but we know once you get it, it's pretty wild.
It is. I think that single website is like outperforming or on par with the entire cluster as a whole. So that is exciting.
Well, if that's the case, then imagine if each one had a profile.
That would be the next step. Yes, definitely. We also discussed this, I think, a couple of months ago. There are opportunities if you have a very good cluster that is producing well. You now have an actual business asset, and so if you would like to incorporate that asset and have a proper NAP and things like that, you could definitely do that. And if you want to build a business from those microsites and hire people to fulfill the leads, you could also do that. So there are many ways to cut that and monetize.
We have a lot of, sticks in the fire. We have the agency, we have the community, we make money this way, that way, we have the microsites. My question is, why are we still excited about microsites when we're making money over here? Like, what is the most exciting thing about this concept?
It is the ability to scale infinitely, I think. If we have a working formula and we can get those last pieces of the puzzle in place, there's this flywheel where the margin is basically 100% monthly. And then the amount of new sites you can build out with that infrastructure, if there's no or almost no manual work involved, it is a gigantic flywheel. And then the question becomes, how are we gonna present this as an offer that we like? How are we gonna model this thing in a way that we maximize our returns and have a nice life while doing it and not burn out? So it's such an interesting model because the real dilemmas and questions are more about what is our preferred way of making money with this, not so much how can we make money with this.
The preferred way, I think, is rev share.
I agree. So the vision is a $5 million ARR agency with just 10 clients. And I think it can be done. It's going to be a challenge to find the right clients and build the relationships with those. But if you just imagine, if you just have 10 clients, a typical agency is going to take on 100 to 200 clients to get to that kind of revenue. And most people we know that do that are pretty burned out, or they're going to be burned out at some point. The thing with mega clients, if they can absorb the amount of leads we need them to, so 100 leads a month or something like that, that is just one client to manage. They are going to be way more sticky. There's a lot less churn if you provide them with that amount of revenue. Also, they are bigger, so they are proven. These are good business people. So they're not going to ghost you. They're not going to not pay their bills for good, like high quality leads. And so my estimation is that if we can find those 10 clients, we are going to have a very profitable and very nice to like a fun thing to run and very profitable agency.
Fun thing to run instead of pulling our hair out over doing something arduous.
I cannot pull any more hair out, so I'll have to find another way.
That's a good way to end. Let's do another video soon. But thanks, Shawn.
Thank you, Jesse. Very much like that.
There you have it, the 5 questions most frequently asked about microsites. Hopefully that kind of helps you decide whether or not you want to go after it. And if this is something you want to pursue, join the Rank Expand Academy, because this is where it's at. We give you our templates, we give you the downloads, we give you everything. And then you have a community of people, hundreds of people, willing and able to support you, right? Ask a question, you will get answers. People have already done this. They are ranking their microsites right now. So I hope to see you in there, and make sure to check out the previous podcasts. We've done a lot of podcasts on this channel, right? We've done one with Seth. Go check out that one. That one's wild. Seth does this concept for rev share only. He has 4 websites that make him a ton of money, right? So anyways, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.